You will look at old family tradition differently by the end of this video. Let me take you on a dark journey, one that begins in a charming, centuries-old house situated atop a misty hillside. This house, with creaking timbers and a musty smell of long-forgotten days, has harbored numerous generations of the Darrow family. For the Darrows, this house wasn't just where they lived. It was where their lineage was embedded. Portraits lined the walls, eyes following your every movement. Antique mirrors reflected glances you thought you'd imagined. But there was one thing the Darrows did without exception every winter. They followed the footsteps. Allow me to elaborate. You see, the Darrow house had a peculiar seasonal mystery, a trail of footsteps in the snow. Every first heavy snowfall of the season, these footprints would appear overnight near the family garden. One set of deep, deliberate steps leading toward the house, but none leading back. No matter how heavily it snowed or how strong the wind blew, the ethereal footsteps never vanished until the snow itself melted to slush. It was an unbroken tradition for every generation to follow these footprints, carrying a single lit candle in hand and complete silence until they reached the end of the trail. "Why do we do this?" young Ellie Darrow had asked her grandmother one frosty December night. "To pay respect," her grandmother whispered firmly, her voice trembling with reverence, almost fear. "To whom?" Ellie tried again, her curiosity bubbling. The older woman's pale lips quivered as she said reluctantly, "To what is owed." Each year, Ellie felt a chill run down her spine when the ritual arrived, the lantern lights trembling in the cold as the family assembled by the door. But one harsh winter, the answers Ellie sought emerged in the form of a horrifying revelation. At 17, Ellie was old enough to know her family's deepest rituals and legacies, but still not old enough to see the depth of what they concealed. That particular winter was uncommonly harsh. Snow piled up in heaps higher than their picket fence, and the wind howled continuously like the anguished cries of someone unseen. Ellie and her slightly younger brother Ben begged to stay home from the ritual that year. After all, why had no one ever seen the person who made those steps? Who made them? What if it was a phantom of no good intention? But their parents insisted, just as their parents before them had always done. Darrow tradition. This year, with significant courage and cold biting at her cheeks, Ellie dared to linger behind the group as they walked the trail of footsteps. Holding her candle aloft, its feeble flickers were no match for her racing thoughts. And then, almost by accident, she glanced toward one of the elongated footprints in the thick snow. That's when her knees nearly buckled. The snow around the footprints didn't compress or shift like normal prints would. Something about them was unnatural, heavy, yet eerie, untouched by wind or weather. That wasn't all. In the light of her candle, Ellie could discern faint smudges, as if an imprint of claws accompanied the shoe-like prints. A wave of horror washed over her, yet somehow she kept walking, mostly because the terror had locked her feet in sync with the others, the weight of history pulling her forward. Toward a low iron gate at the end of the trail. The gate opened to nothing but an oak tree, its branches old and weathered, clawing toward an ominous sky. But as tradition demanded, the candles extinguished together, their ritual complete for another year. Ellie tried not to question it, but she couldn't stop. That night, when the house had fallen silent in its usual creaks and groans, Ellie, daringly foolish or bravely curious, made the decision to investigate. She tiptoed past the flickering shadows of candles poised on each stairwell. The house no longer felt like home. Every dark corner seemed alive. Every floorboard groaned as though a warning. She bundled herself in her thickest overcoat and pushed open the heavy front door. The snowy wind struck her face at once, leaving her cheeks pink and stinging, but she had no intention of retreating. Slowly, step by step, Ellie walked toward the footsteps. They were still there, now shimmering faintly under the weak moonlight. Except where the family stopped to extinguish their candles, Ellie noticed something fresh, something new tonight. The footsteps didn't end. They continued, disappearing toward a hill shrouded in even thicker snowfall. Against every better judgment, Ellie followed. She readied herself to finally confront the nature of these footsteps, the truth that had haunted her family. It was an uphill trudge, the snow crunching beneath Ellie's boots. And then as she reached the crest of the hill, she gasped and stumbled back. Before her stood not another tree, nor another gate, but a small decrepit wooden cabin, the source of those ritual-bound footprints that no one dared explore until her. The windows glimmered, dimly illuminated, each pane frosted over and dripping tears of ice. Ellie gulped, knowing she could no longer turn back. Inside, nothingness whispered softly. No sound, no vibration, not even the obligatory house creak accompanied her as she crossed its threshold. With quivering hands, she lit her candle and peered closely into the bare wooden room, until she noticed what truly awaited: a mirror. It rested against the wall ahead, its surface murkier than any reflection she'd seen. A mirror so haunting, it seemed to resonate soundlessly under the weight of spatial ignorance. It didn't reflect her. Instead, the depth inside it revealed shadows twisting unnaturally. The visage, a pale, clawed figure. Identical footsteps, distorted infinite as they stretched backward an eternity. Chaos within its glossy frame, as though its mirror eyes peered toward her deeper still. She backed away, so terror-struck Ellie screamed and collapsed, candle falling dark and smudged, forgotten. It wasn't until Ellie woke again hours later amongst her searching family nearby field safe, where footprints deserted nowhere, unanswered lore, presumed faint whispers, stolen dreams beneath one glance, spiral cold, rainy clearer, whose horror story, forgotten. Year eluded, quiet retrace beyond yours, houses yours, wait, revelation never daring, do same steady snow masquerade, much unspoken, but Darrow's whisper, midnight deserving dinner, reflect, repeat, release, forget tradition, fondling spectral memories. Now family, thanks for watching. Subscribe to Daily Scary Tales for your daily dose of fear and fascination. Dare to join us again.